Hey all, and welcome back to Pokémon Y. In this part, I'm going to start off by showing off this new Pokémon I've added to the team. This is Yveltal, and Yveltal will be joining us for this part, and this part alone, because I'm not going to get that much use out of it, all things considered. But in this part, we're going to be making our way toward the end game, and that means going to and then through the Victory Road of Kalos. And as you can tell by the part length, this is going to take us quite a little while. So in this part, I think it's time for us to knuckle down a bit and just discuss all the different bits and pieces of news that's come out since our last recording session, which I admit has been a little while. Sometimes these things happen, unfortunately. First up is the Galarian forms. This was something that I kind of had to eat my words on like a couple of parts ago or so, because I was thinking like, now if they were going to have Galar forms, they would have shown them off by now. It would have been kind of a big selling point. And then, like, I think it was a few days after we recorded that, where they did that. I think it was either a trailer or a stream or something, where they showed off, what was it, the Wheezing and the Lanoon. I think they're all kind of cool designs, honestly, those two. Well, and their respective evolutions, because the Lanoon, it's like got a kiss punk kind of thing going on with it.
It's more of a badger.
And I think it looks really cool. Chris, what do you think of those ones, like the Lanoon line?
I like Zigzagoon. It's a basic kiss, Zigzagoon.
It is literally.
But I don't know if I like the look of the. I don't know. Lagoon. It looks kind of weird. It looks like the body shape mixed with a
Obstagoon.
with the traditional appearance of it. It's a bit
I'm not
awkward.
a fan of Obstagoon.
See, I kind of like the design, but also what I associate it with, especially when it's got his pose where it's got like his arms crossed and that. It reminds me of those like furry commentary videos. You know the guys where they're like ranting about something, and instead of like putting themselves on camera, they just have a picture of like their persona with their arms crossed.
I'm not familiar with those.
That's probably for the best, because most of them are making like really mundane, like social commentary.
I'm not
kind of
familiar with them, but I've always had the feeling that must happen. It's like if anybody does that sort of thing, any sort of person who's very vocal, shall we say.
Yeah, like, so the thing is, like, some of those, like, it's whatever, but then you get the nutter ones that are entertaining for different reasons. Like I saw one of them. It's like this dragon guy that's got his arms crossed and like got his wings up and shit. And like, there's a few like seem like normal rant videos on his channel, but then there's one that's like, we should bring back child labour, and here's my arguments. And it's like, dude, come on, you're a fucking furry.
Dear.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to the Galarian forms. I don't hate how Zigzagoon and Lanoon look, but they do feel a lot more like colour swaps than most other Galarian or Alolans. Because, let's face it, Zigzagoon, it's just black and white with its tongue out, and Lanoon, it's got like sort of buffed up knuckles in a way, and again, black and white. But overall, it's exactly the same. Whereas the Alolan variants had a lot more differences to them.
So the thing is, I get where you're coming from there, but at the same time, I just think the black and white kiss looks really cool, so I'm willing to forgive it for that. Like, I feel like some designs I might have, like, if it was a different Pokemon with a different colour scheme, I might have just thought, okay, this should just be a shiny. But,
I don't hate the colour scheme. I do like them. I just think there should have been a slight alteration to their designs.
Yeah,
just a
that's
little,
fair.
just enough. So it's like, you go, okay, it's not just a glorified colour swap. But then you get to Obstagoon, and it goes in the complete opposite direction of what the Lanoon line is. It's about speed, and then you get this thing
But then again, like, you were asking for it to be different, and it becomes very different.
Well, yeah, only slight differences.
So you fucking Pokemon fans can't be pleased. There's your proof.
Let's look at Sandslash. It's like, yes, there's a big type difference and everything, but the overall aesthetic and purpose of the design still carries through. They're both very defensive and offensive.
Yeah, plus it does kind of... Like, if you think the in-universe explanation is very much like if a Sandslash grew up in a different area, it would probably end up evolving into this.
Exactly.
And they look the same. Like, they look like the other two look like two different Pokemon, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, it should be an evolution, or it's like,
it is an evolution technically, and so I can see why they you couldn't really just do bigger Linoon. And in terms of Linoon's design itself, I don't really know what else you could have done that wouldn't just be like a bit longer or a bit smoother or whatever.
Yeah, but it's like looking at, again, with Sandslash, you look at both of them, they're both very, very different, but also very similar. Then you get to Obstagoon, and suddenly it's sprouted human legs.
Yeah, completely different.
Where did this? It's suddenly it is a person in a fursuit, and I've seen someone adjust the size of the legs so that make them shorter and stumpier, and it looks so much better.
But then, would it be able to move very efficiently?
Well, they're not too short. They're like the sort of size where it's like, okay, fair enough. It still looks like it's just sort of. It's like, it looks like a buffer Linoon, but it's sort of gotten up a bit, just like, okay, I'm gonna go punch something in the face now.
It's like the Snorlax like sprite evolution, but as a Pokemon.
Yeah, where he's slowly getting up.
I love that. Yeah.
I like the fact that during the sprite evolution, there's a bit where he's sat up, and then the following one, he's sort of back a bit, like he's trying to get up. And he's, okay, I'm working my way up now. And then the next one, he stood up.
No, what we need is like for next time they actually bother making a new model for him, just have him like drinking a coffee or something like, I need to get up now. Yeah.
I would love it if, like, when he comes out of the Pokeball, his animation is that of the evolution of the sprites, when he gets up. Okay, there we go.
Maybe he should get thinner throughout, like he's doing ab crunches.
I don't want to see a thin Snorlax. That sounds like nightmare fuel.
Yeah, true.
Like, if you think Snorlax, but he's got like a really buff build and he's got a six-pack or something like that, like, God no, that would be a disaster. But yeah, moving on to the next Galar form, we've got Wheezing. Now, I like it. I know why people don't. Because to me, I appreciate the fact that it's doubling down on the British stereotype, you know, it's got the kind of like the chimney pot hats, like that to me is cool.
I do like that. I do think it is a very silly but likeable design. My problem with it is that they haven't. It doesn't feel like a proper integration of the hat. It feels like the hat's just been plonked on top and nothing else was done.
Stephen, what do you do with a hat?
Yes, but you're meant to make... Yeah, but this is the Pokemon. It's not meant to look like it actually is a hat. It's meant to look like an extension of its body.
Yeah, but like, if you've got... Yeah, go on.
It is sort of a chimney, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the point.
Yes, but it's more to do with the rim of the hat. It's more to do with the rim of the hat that I dislike. I feel like it just looks like it has just been plonked on.
So what you're saying is you want it to be like suddenly a steel type with a saw blade hat, like fucking Speedwagon had in part 1. Because that would be kind of sick.
No, but let's go back to that.
Yeah, like, actually that is kind of a cool thing. But yeah, like
it's like Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat. I'm pretty sure it's the name.
Yeah, I don't play Mortal Kombat, but I seem to recall seeing a go with that. Chris, what do you think of Wheezing?
I think it's brilliant, to be honest. I think it's like silly and it just put in the perfect way. I don't know what's its before evolution called.
Coughing. That's just regular.
It is basically just a slightly different colour one.
As far as we're aware, Coughing is just regular Coughing, but when it evolves in Galar, it turns into a Galarian Wheezing.
Yeah, sort of like Raichu in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, or Execute.
Yeah. Well, I was saying that, like, talking about how it's kind of just a silly kind of evolution. That's kind of what Executor was.
Yeah, but
It's even got the long theme in there as well.
I kind of prefer the way that's integrated more because at least it's a proper palm tree now.
Yeah, like it is playing on the tree design. Plus, wasn't there like one of them episodes like early on in the Sun and Moon anime where they had the Kanto Executor and the Alolan one next to each other?
The regular one feels very uncomfortable. Like, why is he so tall?
Don't worry, he's compensating for something.
No, he's grown a tail as well. And that's got a head on it as well.
Yeah, okay, choice of wording.
Hey, don't blame me.
Yeah, blame the Executor.
I'm just describing what it is. How would you describe it any other way?
Yeah, true. But yeah, next up we have Surfetched.
Yes.
I fucking love Surfetched.
Surfetched is the evolution that Farfetch'd has deserved for a long time now.
He really is.
It should have existed ages ago.
Well, I'm kind of glad they're doing it this way because this is better than just having a typical like Kanto Farfetch'd evolution. He is a pure fighting type. He has a little vegetable sword.
It is a leak still.
It is a leak, yeah. Like, that is cool. I've seen all the photoshops of people extending it slightly. I'd put one out, and what I was kind of hoping, that doesn't seem to be the case, is I was kind of hoping eventually the news sites would start picking up the edits by mistake. Because I know that when the whole Pokemon gun meme was going around, a few websites did report on that as though it was an actual thing, and I was kind of hoping they'd pick up the edits and mistake them as well. Sort of like the Sonic Forces logo debacle, because a lot of the official Sonic media's accidentally used a fan-made Sonic Forces logo. But yeah, no, like Farfetch'd in itself, or Surfetch'd in itself, I really like it. Cool design. I want to see more action of it. Like, granted, we would need better animation for that, but yeah.
I do like the fact that both the sword and the shield are elements of a leak, because someone got up an image of an actual leak, and the way the shield is, it is actually part. That is how a leak is.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just been split in two.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see that Game Freak have started taking my advice to just give every Kanto Pokemon a sword and shield for these films. Chris, what do you think as first?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Like, it's his facial expression, isn't it? He just looks like a proper
very smug.
He's got to have some cool episode in the anime, and he jousting or
There's
something.
Or some sort of like saving a princess arc.
Oh yeah, of course. But yeah, Surfetch'd is a Pokemon Sword exclusive.
It's pure fighting type.
Yeah, like that is kind of a big departure compared to because I would have expected them to maybe do like fighting flying, just like a Horlucia sort of thing. But
you have a lot of birds that aren't capable of flying in real life, so
yeah, well,
it's like yes, they're birds, but they don't fly.
Yeah, like you got all them other birds, like we've already got Doduo, Dodrio, haven't we?
Still a mystery how those fly.
Well, they have wings, just like they don't look strong enough to carry their body.
Never seen the wings.
I think we've seen them
Never seen them
at some point, but I don't know.
The only acceptable ideas I've seen for how they fly is they spin their heads around like a helicopter, or a head either side just flapping, while the third head in the middle is looking forward.
Yeah, that's like the directions. Although at that point you might as well just have like something like Aerosmith or something just looking around the area nearby. But yeah, so we've got Surfetch'd is the Pokemon Sword exclusive form. Now, for the Pokemon Shield exclusive form, we'll get to the actual Pokemon itself in a minute, but I want to talk about the reveal process that they had for this.
God,
so you've got one Pokemon that you want to show off, just one new design. And previously what they've done is they've put out like a minute-long trailer that just shows the Pokemon, shows it in a couple of battles. And it makes sense, it shows off like what you need to know about the Pokemon. Now, they decided to change it up for this next one because they decided to do a live stream where they would reveal it. And not just any live stream, it wasn't like a Pokemon Direct, it wasn't just like, playing a trailer. No, they decided they would live stream for 24 hours a single static shot of a forest area.
Yeah, Glimwood, I think it was called.
Glimwood.
Glimwood Tangle.
Yeah. And so they just had this camera just set on there, and people were just watching the stream. Occasionally they'd have like a Pikachu or that new purple thing just show up and
Impidimp,
yeah.
which still hasn't been officially revealed.
Yeah, they haven't officially said anything, he's just conveniently been there. But yeah, they've had these just run across the screen every now and then. They repeated some of them, so it wasn't even like it was something new.
You had Morlul.
That's
the little mushrooms, the fairy type,
so,
grass type.
Like throughout the entire 24 hours, they would occasionally give a very slight glimpse that you couldn't quite make out what the new Pokemon was, but you could see him there, and so that was enough to keep all the like hardcore fans just watching this whole time for the whole 24 hours. And like right toward the end, I believe it was, they actually showed the fucking new Pokemon. So they've made people wait all day just in case they were to show anything along the way. And like, what I think this comes down to is I think someone at Game Freak fucking hates journalists. Because they know that there's going to be journalists watching this whole thing like the whole time, just in case something comes up that they need to report on, something cool that they need to write an article about. And like, the guy I feel really bad for is Water Pokemon Master, the guy who runs Pokebeach, because that stream was on his birthday. And like, given it's his job to report on Pokemon stuff, he couldn't go out. He couldn't go out for a drink on his birthday or anything. He had to sit in and just watch that stream, like in case something happened. Like, I felt really bad for that guy. But yeah, so what they eventually showed on this live stream, after much nothingness, we saw the new Pokemon Shield exclusive Galarian form, Galarian Ponyta. It's a pony from My Little Pony.
It really is.
That is the only way I can describe it, really.
Throughout the stream, you would just occasionally see either its tail or its mane. That was it. And then it eventually walks across the screen.
Yeah.
Eventually. And then right at the very end, you see two Ponyta interacting with each other, and they seem to glance up at the sky briefly, run round in a circle, and then gallop on. And the scene is cute. It is endearing.
That was their ritual to finally end Friendship is Magic. I think it was yesterday at the time recording that show finished, so...
I had no idea it was even... It still existed?
Yeah. Like, they were still making new episodes. I think it was just this week that it's finished for good.
I thought it finished like years ago. Like, I thought it...
No, all it was that the grown men finally got put away.
I thought I just assumed it was an old cartoon.
Yeah.
It was actually ongoing?
Yeah. Like, Friendship is Magic, the one that all the brains started creaming over, that was like a reboot. Like, that was, I think it was like the third generation of it. That was like why it became popular, because there was this new one that had started.
I am just
Have I blown your fucking mind with fucking pony news?
I am staggered by that.
Well, you know, now you know.
How?
Because there was demand for it, that's how. It's a popular show.
I mean, I know it's stupid of me to ask again, but I'm going to anyway. How?
I don't know why you're so blown away that a popular cartoon was brought back.
It's not just bronies who watch it though, is it?
Yeah, I think there's maybe like two or three little girls who watch it too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And they're just like, it's alright. It's like, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just there.
No, but like, so the Galarian Ponyta, it's a psychic type, which has caused a little bit of confusion because it looks like, on the surface, it looks like it should have been fairy, and I think a lot of people were expecting it to be fairy. Like, there's some fan theories going around about how it's meant to represent like unicorns, healing powers, and things like that. Like, I don't know, I think there's a possibility that it was possibly just they already have a lot of fairy types in this gen and they wanted to balance
plus
it.
Plus, a lot of the fairy types currently are pink and cutesy in that sense. Like, kind of give it to another a different type for once.
Although, like, saying that, Galarian Wheezing is fairy type.
Yes, that is adorable.
Yeah,
as it coughs up its lungs and creates a beard from the smog.
Yeah. Although isn't the smog meant to be like some purifying thing? Yes,
it takes in toxic fumes and then breathes out clean air. Yeah.
So what we need really
it's
is...
it shouldn't even be a poison type, but it is.
Well, it's still digesting the poison, isn't it? So it can still use it to a certain degree, but what you need is like one of the Kanto Wheezing next to him just breathing out the smoke and then having that one purifying.
Oh dear. It's like when you keep your awkward friend around you to make yourself look better.
Oh my God. Is that what you're doing with me?
No, you're bringing me down, actually.
I'm proud.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
Because you're committed and this is a long LP.
I'm destroying myself here.
It's fine. Yeah. You'll be able to recover later down the line, I'm sure.
It's like, how can I abuse myself today?
Yeah, just like...
I'm feeling better about myself. Well,
time to bring me down again.
Time to go have my session. It's like people have therapy sessions to make themselves feel better. I see you.
Glad to know where I stand. No, but like... I do kind of feel like there's potential for like interactions between like the Kanto forms of Pokemon and the like Alolan or Galarian ones, because like I know that there's been a Muck and Alolan Muck tag team card in the TCG, which is kind of cool in design. I will say the tag team mechanic I don't like, if only because every one of the fucking cards is OP. Because fuck balance. This is a problem that the TCG has now, and I've been playing TCG online and I've come like directly into conflict with it, is that the game now is very much built around the GX cards and the GX tag teams in particular these days from the latest Sun and Moon expansions, and it kind of gets to the point where you need to have one to stand a chance of winning because they're so much more powerful than the others. Because they've attempted to balance them in that if you knock out a tag team card, then you can take 3 prize cards rather than 1. Except the problem is that they're so much higher in stats than non-tag teams and non-GXs that if you don't have one, you don't stand a chance of knocking it out. So that's kind of a problem in my eyes. Like, I know they're trying to speed up the game a lot, but I think there's better ways to do it. And they've teased the Sword and Shield TCG as well. And that seems to up the power creep even more, because they've got this Pokemon V mechanic, which it seems to be like the TCG equivalent of Dynamaxing, where it is just a more powerful version of the card, and there's rumoured to be like a V Max like thing that then builds on that on top of it, so fuck balance again.
Speaking of Dynamax and Gigantamax, it was revealed recently in an interview that the Pokemon don't turn giant.
Isn't it like a hologram?
It's a hologram.
Even worse.
So that brings up the question of the Dynamax Pokemon. It's not a new form. It's like, even beforehand, it still wasn't a new form. They were just bigger, but now it's even less.
No, what happens is now every Pokemon gets the ability to completely like make everyone around them hallucinate, which that is kind of an impressive form, I gotta say.
And it kind of explains why they don't happen in random battles.
Yeah, although to be fair, that would be kind of hilarious if you're just walking through a forest and like random Caterpie, oh shit, it's huge. Like, goodbye to that tree, I guess.
Like with Dynamax Beedrill used toxic. It covered the forest. All the plant life is dead.
Are you implying that the Pokemon world doesn't seem that sustainable with all these creatures around that can cause major damage? 'Cause that's been a thing that I can point out in Let's Plays and sound smart for years now.
Let's be honest, if the Pokemon world was real, it would have been nuked a long time ago by a bunch of Entei.
Ding, that's another sin, right? Because we got that, even fucking any legendary Pokemon could fuck everything up big time, wouldn't it? And especially when you get to the anime films where there's scenes for half hour straight of just legendary Pokemon beating the shit out of each other.
I mean, for goodness sake, you got the Dialga and Palkia film, or the Darkrai film.
It's the Dialga and Palkia film, isn't it?
I mean, Darkrai is in it a lot. The thing is, it's like they pretty much were erasing a small island. They did drag the island into their dimension, though, so...
But then you think that there's been massive damage in all of them, even fucking Mewtwo blowing up the base, because that was on its own island, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the Hooper film, because both those Hoopers brought in so many legendaries, and it actually caused problems, to reality itself, bringing in so many of them.
Well, of course, I just say.
It was all focused on a single little island. It was this place is going down very quickly. Heck, even Arceus intervened.
What, as in was pulled out of the hoop? Or as in, I've had enough of this shit?
Yeah, he came in. It came in and was like, look, I'm not going to let anyone die, just don't do it again. Because, there's essentially a massive cylinder, a massive barrier around this building, and they're getting all these people off the island with Hooper's hoops. But Hooper, throughout the film, can't go through its own portals.
That would cause a kind of paradox if it did that, wouldn't it?
Well, not really.
Well, it could lose itself somewhere. Possibly.
No, because the rings itself, it's difficult to explain. It's got these rings.
I'm gonna bust you over.
It's got those two rings on its horns, and it uses them to open the portals. So it's it goes through and then it closes it, and its ring is there. So
does it take a Chaos Emerald to the past?
I have no idea. I'm not talking about those paradoxes again. He couldn't go through it because he had a spell put on him because he was a bit of an arsehole. And he's trying to go through it, Ash is trying to help him, and the barrier's getting really close, going to crush them, but then Arceus intervenes and is like, look, I'll give you a little bit more time.
Is Arceus voiced in that film?
No, he just shows up in the clouds. They look up and go, it's Arceus! He's like, goes.
Arceus giving us the middle finger on every one of its 1,000 arms.
Really? He helped. It helped.
But that's the mood that he's going to be in.
Noisy kids down there. Bringing in every legendary. They've been pulling in the gods of time and space. How did Hooper do that?
I really need to watch all the other films. I've seen a good handful of the films at this point. The first 4 I've seen all of those. Heroes I've seen. I don't think I've seen any of the. Well, actually, I didn't see the first 2 advanced ones. Then I saw Lucario and Manaphy.
I've seen them all except for the most recent one. Not the remake of Mewtwo, the Power of Us.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one either. Again, probably will, but the first one of that little reboot, series, I guess, wasn't all that. It was just weird how they just tried to recreate it, but then didn't, and rushed through a lot of stuff. I think I went over this in an earlier part, so I won't dwell on it too long. I'm curious how much of a shit show the Mewtwo film remake's going to be, because it looks hideous.
It doesn't look absolutely terrible.
David.
The Pokemon look fine. It's the people.
Yeah, and the people who are on screen for a lot of
it. I mean, to be fair, it is just it's just Mewtwo Strikes Back again. Although I do absolutely hate the armour that is used for Mewtwo when he's being experimented on / trained by Giovanni. Because like the original armour in the original film looks so much better. It's sleeker. It feels more clinical, and that matches the feeling that it's meant to be going for because he's an experiment.
Yeah, he's being worked on.
It's like I get that you want him to also be like a weapon in a sense, but in a way, the armour also did that for him as well.
I want him to get a Mega Buster. I see, like, we might have slightly different ideas.
Shooting out shadow balls.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Tell me that wouldn't be sick, Stephen. That would be cool as fuck.
Oh dear.
I'm not hearing a rebuttal, so I'll just...
Okay, it'd be fine.
There we go. Also, he's got a turret. On that big stand that he stands on in the big hole, he just shoots all the other Pokemon. That's how he wins.
Oh dear.
No, but like, I don't know, I have no optimism for that film at all. I feel like it's the kind of thing that if people wanted to watch the Mewtwo film again, they would just watch the original one. Because like, people now don't really want to watch that because it's a good film. Because it's not. They want to watch it because it's like the film they watched as a kid.
Although I have seen a video recently that popped up where someone made their kid watch it recently and they did cry when Ash died.
Well, yeah, because they're a kid.
Yeah, I didn't cry when Ash died. I was really unfazed by that. I was just like... In fact, I was sort of dropping in and out of the film a lot of the time. Yeah. And by the end of it, he's alive. So it's like... Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I just came here for Pokemon to fight.
You got it. Anyway, just to talk about Hydreigon real quick, because he's on screen and he's going to get replaced at the end of this part, because this one's particularly useless. What do we think of Hydreigon as a design, Chris?
What gen did he come in?
5.
5. Yeah, pretty good, yeah. Not my favourite dragon type, but it's still pretty good, yeah.
I kind of echo that, because like, the whole Dark Dragon thing, it is really cool. It would need a better moveset than I bothered giving this one. To be fair, that's a me problem more than a dragon problem.
It's more of a special attacker.
Is it like a primary special attack kind of Pokemon?
Yeah. So I think it can learn nasty plot, so...
Oh, right, yeah. So, like, yeah, I think design-wise it's really cool, Stephen. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. Originally, it was going to be a robot dragon.
I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah, because the stripes on its belly, they're tank treads.
That would be really cool. Like, imagine if you got like a whole like convoy of them just wheeling into war. Just picture that. That would be really cool.
Just robot hydras going.
Yeah. But no, like, it's cool for what it is. But again, you know, compared to other dragons, I'm going to replace it with the Dragonite I used a little while ago.
It's like a bit of me wants to see if it ever got a Mega Evolution, but that's been forgotten now. And I would say Gigantamax form, but that'll be forgotten eventually too, and replaced with another worse gimmick.
I'm trying to think, what could they do that's even less imaginative than let's make it bigger? Maybe put like a thicker outline around it.
It has a menacing aura.
No, it just removes itself from the regional decks.
The Pokemon get stand.
And it's just a slightly smaller version of it.
No, it's slightly bigger.
It just stands behind it. Although to be fair, that in itself, if it's done right, which it wouldn't be, but that could be kind of cool just to look at.
Charizard stand, Crazy Diamond. No. Blaziken uses Red Magician. No, Magician's Red.
Yeah, because Blaziken in itself, it kind of is Magician's Red. Yeah, I'd say more so Combusken than Blaziken, just because it's got that more like traditional chicken shape to it, but still like the whole fire chicken thing. That's basically what it is, isn't it? But that was a good show because like Mewtwo is Killer Queen, isn't it? Mewtwo.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So like that would be kind of sick.
Mew would be Crazy Diamond.
Would it? Like because Crazy Diamond's a lot more.
They're kind of meant to be polar opposites in a sense, because like Crazy Diamond fixes things, whereas
Shining Diamond, isn't it? I know it's like the Crunchyroll stuff, so localise everything. And it's like we know what it is, but still.
Yeah, you even hear them saying it.
It's actually like I kind of get that they're a bit scared about copyright and whatnot, but like if you're gonna just have the characters voice it anyway, like we know what it is.
Shining Diamond, whereas Josuke's saying Crazy Diamond.
Yeah, like and some of the JoJo games are even more blatant with it. Like from I forget like one of the later parts, D4C, Days of Thunder Shape. I believe that was localised as Filthy Axo Reason Price. Like, some of these are fucking amazing, but yeah.
Probably the least offensive one was Bad Company to Worse Company.
Oh yeah, but then as someone who likes a band, Bad Company, it's like I can just. Like, it's Bad Company.
Yeah. He even says it on their outfits.
Yeah, it literally does, doesn't it?
He actually says it.
It just says it as Bad Co, doesn't it? Which is the Bad Company band's logo. Like, on their albums, they tend to lay it out like that.
Or BC, it's like, wait, you're calling it Worst Company. What does the B stand for?
What was it they localised Echoes as, wasn't it? Reverb?
Yeah.
But, like, Echoes is just a word. Why does that need changing?
That's not copyrighted.
I don't fucking know.
And it does create echoes, so why?
No, it's reverb when it just rings out. Like, there is a slight difference between reverb and echo in terms of like audio production. That is very subtle, but
Anyway, you just beat the male trainer again.
He's so boring. Why do I even bother?
We're good friends. You're going to be a good champion, but I want to be a champion too. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I hope you get stronger and stronger. Like, I'm already thrashing the shit out of you. You're going to stand no chance whatever.
I just want to know where people find these max revives. Who produces them? They're just lying around in the world. Who creates ethers and PPs?
Who creates PP?
Shut up, I knew that was coming. I was waiting for you.
You knew the PP was coming?
PowerPoint.
Did you, Stephen? Did you know the PP was coming?
I hate you so much.
You make it too fucking easy for me.
I despise you.
Got another 12 parts, bitch. But yeah, I believe this is the longest victory road, at least out of the games I've played, and I'm just going by the fact that, like, this video, usually when we do a victory road part, it's like 20 odd minutes at it, max. And here we are, like, we've been talking for 40 minutes just fighting all these trainers that are in the way. Granted, the fact that I've got an underpowered Hydreigon isn't helping, but, like, dude, come on, it's a dragon. You can't drown a dragon that's bigger than you.
They do kind of look like hand puppets.
That's what we do. I want to see a Hydreigon puppet show now.
Just with punching Judy.
I feel like one of them should be painted green. Well, just be Kermit.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, Miss Piggy, I've got a divorce you. Oh shit. No, because like the shiny one's green, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Oh god, it is Kermit. Yeah.
Stick some ping pong ball eyes in it.
I realised
Yeah.
It's not easy being green.
God.
Have you heard about? You probably heard about, but if they Gigantamax Waylord, like
yes,
it's destroy the stadium.
Yep, seen that numerous times.
Who knew that Skitty had a giantess king? Hey? That's gonna come on, whatever, isn't it? Like, I wonder if Game Freak are aware of that.
Ugh.
Like, I mean, the whole giantess thing. Because, like, when I first saw that coming out, I just knew that what my Twitter feed would be for the next few days, and I was right.
Well, that's your own fault, really.
Well, it's not my fault that my friends are degenerates.
You're also a degenerate.
There is no proof of this.
your Twitter?
I was hacked.
God, I'm so glad I've got you muted.
A lot of people do. Why am I bothering reviving the Hydreigon? Like, I'm sure I must have something else.
Can you notice the difference between a male and a female Raichu?
It's the tip of their tail, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I use this Raichu, which is a female Raichu in this playthrough, and just recently I finished recording Pokemon Sun for my other channel, and I also used a female Alolan Raichu. And I will say, like, when I first saw Alolan Raichu, I was a bit harsh on its design, because like I just saw it as like a less cool version of Kanto Raichu, and I still do think that Kanto Raichu is the better design on the whole.
Is.
But the Alolan one did grow on me through using it on my team.
I think it's like there's a slight thought of it being a replacement in a way, but in a sense it isn't. It's just an alternative.
It's kind of cool that it's psychic type, I will say that much.
And it surfs around with its tag.
Like when you get its Z move, like I forget what it's called, these sparks.
Stoked Spark Surfer.
Yeah, that is really cool, just seeing it like zoom down riding its tail.
Rides up above the clouds in front of the sun and then just comes plummeting down on the enemy.
Now, I will say, and this is something that I am already bracing myself for you disagreeing with me harshly on this, but I want a Galarian Raichu. And my reasoning for this is, like, Pikachu's mascot of the series, and I feel like having a lot of options for it to evolve into is great, but also I would say that Pikachu has always been one of my favourite early game electric types in every game that he's in, and I just want a bit of variety so I don't end up using the same Raichu on yet another team, and it would be cool if they gave it a different typing.
Well, I understand where you're coming from. That feels like you're trying to turn Raichu into an evolution.
Maybe I am.
And that's wrong. Eevee is what it should be. It's the only one.
Well, that's still... Like, Eevee's kind of thing is that any Eevee can just become anything, really. Whereas if it's like a regional thing, then it's... Like if you think in nature, in real life, animals don't... Like, they can be the same species, but they can be completely different all over the world. And so I think if it weren't for the whole limited dex thing, the problem we've got to deal with now, I would suggest that for every Pokemon. But, like, for the mascot of the series, his evolution, I think having a lot of flexibility would be cool.
I don't think it should happen.
Unless they made it like a really shit, like, bug type or something. That would piss me off.
That wouldn't even make any sense.
No, but which of Game Freak's decisions these days does make sense.
Yeah, true.
Well, I don't know, like, I am a bit biased because, like, Raichu is one of my favourite Pokemon.
What would you do to it though? Or?
I think, like, maybe Steel could work for Galar.
Maybe.
And again, I'm just thinking now, like, I caught myself doing it, of envisioning a Galar form with a Sword and Shield, but if you were to give it a more, like, you know, fitting weapon to its build, like, maybe if it had some steel discs or something.
Perhaps if its tail had a slight axe-like shape to it.
Either an axe or if it had, like, a buzzsaw. Like, on the back of its tail, that could be, like, a decent weapon.
I'm not sure how a buzzsaw would work, but...
Well, like, just have, like, a tail with a buzzsaw at the end. That'd be cool. Why do you not like my ridiculous out there ideas?
It doesn't really work.
I don't know. Like,
I can see an axe working because of the bolt shape to it. You just accentuate the end of it.
Okay, compromise. Like, if we're not going to put a buzzsaw on Raichu, put it on Rhyhorn.
Okay, fair enough. Or put it on him on top.
On him on top, fucking hell. Like, I don't know if I trust that, just have it spinning its head with a buzzsaw. Jesus Christ, that'd kill everyone.
Everybody run!
Fuck.
He's got a Galarian Hitmonchan! The toys never sold well, because you remember in the anime they got that like yo-yo sort of like Hitmontop toy.
Oh,
Because it goes down, it spins, and it comes back up.
yeah, those are a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah. Do you remember the Action Man on the bungee cord?
No, I
There
don't.
were a lot of problems with that.
I remember a lot of toys getting banged years ago because kids would do stupid shit, then their parents would sue the company. Like, do you remember them things that were like a little gel ball thing on a string that people would just throw up and down like a yo-yo?
Oh yeah.
And they got recalled because kids would like throw them around and get them caught around their neck and shit. It's like, how the fuck do you even do that? Like,
Children find a way.
like, and then there were like kids who would bite into them and get the gel in their mouth and shit like that. And it's like, come on, like, I get like if it were a kid for like if it were a toy for really little kids that that'd be a problem. But they were selling these to like primary school kids. You know, once you're about like 6 or 7, you should know not to start eating random things that you find.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that that'd be a sort of cut-off point there.
You underestimate the stupidity of children.
Well, maybe I'm underestimating the stupidity of the parents who just don't teach them that
It's a
maybe
bit
you
of
shouldn't.
both.
It is kind of a bit of both, but like you would think that teaching your kid not to just eat toys would be like one of the first things you teach them.
It's like there's to an extent you can only do so much for a child. But yes,
It's a bit of push and pull with that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like fucking hell. Like, is it like what toys are left? Like, I don't follow any like toy companies or anything. Like, what ones are left now that some kid hasn't accidentally hurt themselves
Ones
with?
that are glued to the ground or are completely immovable.
Yeah, but you could still run into it head first. Oh, makes
Covered
sense.
in cushions.
Even video games now, they like the minimum is like 3+, because like kids might swallow the cartridges or something. But like even the toys you get in like the little Kinder Egg kind of things now, like there's problems with them. I think some countries they're not allowed to sell them anymore because the kids would bite into it not realising there's a toy inside. But yeah, like the toys themselves are probably like the most profitable things for Pokemon, really. Aren't they?
Yeah, apparently
why
they
it's-
make the most out of the merchandise.
That's why it's the most biggest franchise, isn't it?
Pretty
With the
much.
toys.
It is, because like most franchises there's a limit on what they can sell, but you think like they have like nearly 1,000 different characters they can produce toys of now, and that's why instead of doing that they just make a new Pikachu one every year. Was that we need a new Pikachu plush, we need a new Pikachu action figure? Yeah, we're on it.
I've forgotten the name of the hamster.
Oh yeah, what, the one that gets hungry?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the most annoying fucking ad that's been running on YouTube lately, the Pokemon Sword and Shield one, where they went to a event where, like, I think it was just one of the testing, like, preview events, and they just interviewed a bunch of people. And, like, no disrespect to these people, but they were clearly caught off guard when they were asked for a Vox Pop, because they sound, like, really nervous just talking about, like, the game they just played. And, like, there was this one person who was like, oh, I love the new, whatever it was called. It's a rodent and it gets hangry, it's great. And it's like, you clearly bluffed this on the spot, didn't you? And like, yeah, it's just, the people, when, like, voices, it feels like, I'm not sure whereabouts in the world it was, but everyone they interviewed had an accent, and I think it might be a bit northern, and it caught me off guard because I was watching like Let's Plays. I've been watching Chugga's like Pokemon Platinum Let's Play recently, and he's got quite a distinct American accent, so when it cuts to the ad after listening to him talk, and then you got this really thick northern English accent, it's like, oh okay, I'm back to reality here. I've been trying to watch more and more other people's videos these days because I kind of tuned out of it for a little while, but Chugga is just great, his Pokemon LPs, he just goes in depth with everything.
Have we talked about Trevenant yet?
I don't know, but it's alright, it's like Sudowoodo but a ghost.
I love Trevenant's design.
I like it, but we had a design for Pokemon that can fit that was sort of a ghost tree thing and looked very similar to this. And I kind of, I can't remember what that particular design was called, but I can picture its image. And I kind of get them confused because it was like so similar. was the exact same design concept, and then that came out. And it just amuses me, like, whenever I see these similar designs, because, like, we had a, like, light and dark Pokemon, like a pair of legendaries, and then Reshiram and Zekrom came out. We had, like, our region was a set of islands, like tropical islands, and then Alola happened. And even little things like our TCG series that we did, like myself and my old mate Charlie, we put together these templates that would kind of make it look a bit distinct to the TCG templates that were in the official set at the time. And then the black and white series comes out and it looks kind of similar in layout to what we had. I know certain people on the PR team were aware of Acanthit, but I don't think the designers would have been, so I've put a lot of it down to coincidence. But yeah, nowadays, if we were still going with Gotzi indeed, which is kind of... it's a like double-edged sword, the fact that he died, really, because, you know, it would have been cool to get the game finished and whatnot, but we would definitely have got legal trouble for it. Because, you know, Nintendo, the only games company I know who are that aggressive with taking down fan projects for some reason. But, you know, they've got to protect their IPs, guys, even though that's not how law works. I'm going to stop myself before I get too bitter about apologists, because that does annoy me. But yeah, we're on the final stretch of Victory Road now, where we get all the veterans, and they did kind of a similar thing in Vast Pony Canyon in Sun and Moon, where toward the end of the Victory Road thing, there were just this series of like veteran trainers who would just have the most powerful Pokemon. Here we have Glaceon, and I have a type advantage. I will say that out of the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon that got new evolutions, Glaceon is one of the cooler ones in my eyes.
I do like Glaceon. I'm not mad about it, but yeah, it's nice.
I feel like Glaceon, it would be one of my favourite Pokemon from Gen 4 if it wasn't an evolution. Not in terms of I don't want it to be associated with Eevee, but more in the fact that it gets compared to the other evolutions. Like, on its own, it's a fantastic design, and if Espeon and Umbreon weren't a thing, it'd probably be my favourite.
I despise the fact that you stopped your Charizard from learning Flare Blitz just then.
Well, isn't that the one that you hurt yourself?
Yes, but it's perfect for Mega Child X.
But, think about it this way. I'm like 10 levels above everything else, so I can just use Flamethrower and kill it.
No, but why would you have Flamethrower on a physical type?
Because I don't give a shit, Stephen.
Obviously.
Look, I don't remember these stat shit like you do. I just keep on doing whatever the fuck ever until I win.
Also, Lucario got to the nice level.
Nice.
I couldn't help myself. I thought, well, you're either going to point it out or...
I didn't notice, so that was all on you filthy bastard. Yeah, no, but...
I'm a degenerate because of you.
It's all my fault, clearly.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. But yeah, like all of my Pokemon I've leveled here, and like the ones I've traded in, okay, fair enough, that happens. But like Lucario is just one they give you. I don't think Lucario gets boosted experience, does it? Because I know you
I
get
don't
given
think it does.
No, I haven't been paying much attention, but like I also haven't been using any other boosts, because like if you use Pokemon and me and make your Pokemon have high affection, it eventually gets a slight boost and whatnot. But no, just this game it's balancing a way that you are going to win every fight.
I feel bad for Skarmory recently because of the introduction of Corviknight.
Yeah, Corviknight is so much cooler for a metal bird, isn't it?
I mean, Skarmory still looks fantastic, but then you got the Edgelord that's just come in and kicked down the doors.
They've got some good designs so far for the. That's the best thing about it. And the region seems
literally
to be getting more interesting.
The only thing that they have been holding back on is showing off new Pokemon.
Well, they're just dragging it out. They're drip feeding us new Pokemon, and to an extent,
we don't even know the evolutions of the starters.
See, in theory, I get what they're going for. In that, you know, there is going to be a charm. Like if you play it for yourself and you find all these new creatures you've never seen before. But it's gonna get data mined day one, so why bother?
Yeah.
You know, like, I bet by day one we'll see the entire Pokédex with all its stats
definitely.
put somewhere.
Heck, the game will probably be out earlier.
Yeah, it will. Like, that's usually how it happens. Like, I usually get pre-orders like a day or two early, just because that's how the post system works. So like, someone will have it, someone will just go into the files, and how funny is it going to be when we find that there's every model on there and they just couldn't be bothered to animate it or some shit?
That's gonna be... I am praying that is the case, because then that would just solidify my reasons for not getting the game.
I'm just looking forward to the discourse at
It's
this
like,
point.
and then you find out that they've all got Dynamax models as well.
Or every Pokemon is on there, like there's like 12 copies of each Pokemon's model for no apparent reason, because that's how Game Freak works.
Goodness, flipping Let's Go has them all still, doesn't it?
Does it? I haven't looked into that, but that would be amazing if it does.
I don't know if I'm getting mixed up or saying, but I'm pretty sure it has the whole Pokédex on there.
There's a lot of redundancy in general. This is Game Freak's, like, Game Freak, I say this as someone with no programming experience, with no industry experience, and I can confidently say Game Freak doesn't know how to program a game. Like, just looking at everything that everyone's dug up, like the amount of duplication, unnecessary duplication, because in
Lily everywhere.
Well, it's not just
It's
her.
not
Like,
ju- yeah,
Lily's
it's
the
every
example,
character.
but I sort of went over this in a previous part. But to explain it better, the way it works is that usually in games, if you're going to have a character appear multiple times throughout the game, you just have one copy of the model on, like, in the game data, and then each time you want to use that model, you would just pull up that same file. They don't do that. What they do is they have like a separate folder for each individual segment of the game, and in that folder there is a new copy of the model, there is a new copy of any like details. I think the animation data is copied over as well, and like, so what that does is it artificially bloats it, not because it has to, but because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And like, I normally wouldn't rip into a game that much because I know that I don't have the experience myself, but I can just see flat out from the very minimal experience that I have. Like, even when I was working on fan games and shit like that, using prefab, like Pokemon Essentials and shit, that is more efficient than the official Pokemon games, because that just has like your one database with all the Pokemon in it that you can just pull up whenever you want it.
It's like you wonder why Sun and Moon and X and Y chug so much during battles.
Yeah.
When there's so little going on.
Yeah, it's for real. Like, and it's not just that. It's also like, I kind of get it with the 3DS games in that when they created those models, what they did was they kept them like way bigger, way higher resolution than the 3DS would ever need. And the reason for that is so that they can carry on using them rather than having to commission new models every time.
That's come back to bite them in the arse, hasn't it?
So the thing is, like, they technically could use those models again, like, and they are. Like, there's been like conflicting reports, but when you look at the models comparing, like, people have ripped like what we've seen and like from Let's Go and the 3DS ones and just overlaid themselves in editors.
Yeah, someone got the side by side of it was Gyarados in one of the Sword and Shield trailers when it's Gigantamax.
Yes.
And it's like, because of the size of it, you can see all the polygons on it. And they took Gyarados from Let's Go, took the exact frame that it's positioned in to match it perfectly on the screen of Sword and Shield, put it side by side, and the polygons are all exactly the same.
It's not even that though, like, it's like people have directly ripped the models from both the 3DS games and from Let's Go, and it's not just the physical shape of the model that's the same, it's actually like where all the joints are, like, because that's normally the part that makes modelling hard work, because it's being able to have them move without clipping into themselves and shit. Like, that's all exactly the same. So it is literally just copied across, and they could do that. There's no reason they can't, but they've probably used up too much like game data space by duplicating everything.
Yeah, and I find it hilarious when people say, like, no, they've had to recreate them from scratch. And it's like, well, if they have, why are they exactly the same? If they were recreated, there would be differences here and there.
And see, even then, like nowadays, they have the extra option of you're not limited by the original game data anymore. A lot of games, what they do is if it's too big for a game disc or a game cart, you get a day one patch, which is not ideal. But if that's your option, that's better than just not having it at all. And for most companies in this situation, what I would expect is either a patch or it will come in as DLC later on. But from Game Freak, I don't expect that. What I expect is a third version.
Yeah.
A third version that has its own unique shortcomings, but they put in a few more Pokemon in the original decks or something.
And not only that, it's not just going to be a third version anymore. It's 2!
Well, I don't know whether they do like the Ultra approach.
Oh, I can see it happening.
Maybe. We'll wait and see.
It's either going to be that or Diamond and Pearl remake.
It's not going to be Diamond Pearl remakes. Not yet. I think that would be too much work. Not next year. Like, maybe a year after if they want to put off, like, Gen 9, but we'll see. But, yeah, I think a lot of this is going to have to wait and see, but we know Game Freak's patterns, so we'll just see what happens here on out. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, join us next time where we finally take on the Pokémon League. See you then.